It was a cool evening in Burbank, California, and the lights of the Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson glowed brighter than usual. Word had spread across America that the legendary John Wayne, the Duke himself, was coming to sit down with Johnny Carson. Backstage, John Wayne stood quietly near the curtain. He wasn't nervous, not the way ordinary guests were, but tonight felt different. He adjusted his jacket slowly, his big hands steady but thoughtful. Years of Western sunsets, battlefield speeches, and cowboy courage had made him a symbol of strength. Yet tonight, he felt something heavier than fame. Johnny Carson peeked backstage and smiled. "Ready, Duke?" Wayne nodded once. "Let's go talk to America." The curtain opened. The audience exploded into applause the moment Wayne stepped onto the stage. Johnny stood up from behind his desk and walked forward to greet him, shaking his hand warmly. "Ladies and gentlemen," Johnny announced, "there are stars and then there are legends. Tonight we have a legend." Wayne tipped his head slightly and sat down beside him. "Well," Wayne said with a small grin, "Johnny, I've never been called anything else on your show before." The crowd laughed. At first, the conversation was easy. They talked about old Western films, long days riding horses under the desert sun, and Wayne's famous walk, the slow, steady stride audiences loved. Johnny joked about trying to imitate it once and nearly falling over backstage. Wayne chuckled. "That walk only works if you've got dust on your boots." The audience laughed again. But then Johnny leaned forward slightly. "Duke," he asked gently, "after all these years, all these roles, what's the hardest part about being John Wayne?" For a moment, the studio became quiet. Wayne looked down at his hands. "The hardest part," he said slowly, "is people thinking you're always as strong as the characters you play." The audience grew silent. "I played heroes," he continued. "Soldiers, cowboys, men who never back down, but off-screen I'm just a man who's been lucky enough to tell stories." Johnny didn't interrupt. "And sometimes," Wayne added softly, "being a symbol means folks forget you're human." Johnny nodded respectfully. "You've meant a lot to people, Duke." Wayne looked toward the audience. "And they've meant a lot to me." He paused. "When I was riding across those movie plains," he said, "I wasn't riding alone. America was riding with me." The audience erupted into applause again, louder this time, deeper. Johnny smiled warmly. "You know," he said, "I think tonight America is still riding with you." Wayne tipped his head again, eyes shining just slightly under the studio lights. "Well," he replied quietly, "that's the best company a man could ask for." As the band played and the cameras slowly pulled back, Johnny shook Wayne's hand once more. And for a brief moment, the tough cowboy the world admired wasn't just a movie hero. He was simply John Wayne, a man grateful for the people who had walked beside him through every story he ever told. Cowboy television sparkles.